Hi, so today I'd like to talk about values and actions. So, specifically for me, my value has always been, or not my value, the thing that I valued has always been freedom. Though I up until recently, I consciously realized how freedom was one of the core drivers for me. Yet, my actions were not always aligned with my values. And specifically, if I'm talking about freedom, I realized while it always has been my core driver, I could not always act in alignment with that because my mind and my conditioning was not designed for that. And specifically, let's talk about emotional dependency. I used to depend on others' people approval. I used to depend on others' people agreeance, or in some ways even allowance or seeking permission without realizing it. Now looking back at it, as much as I always valued freedom, which at some point was not a conscious value but something I inherently valued. So initially I had to unearth that freedom was something that has always driven me in business, that has always driven me in the relationships, in the partnerships and such. And then when I started looking at my actions, how I was choosing what I was doing, I've started realizing that it doesn't align with my value. And I've started cleaning up my mind, cleaning up my mind and rewiring it to be independent thinker, independent decision maker, and switch from dependency and codependency to interconnectedness. And so in that journey, I've realized for myself that, as humans, we do have some flaws in our design, and the idea is not to be perfect, such as once I've discovered my values, that is it, that all of my actions align with my values. But it is in recognition that freedom is important to me, and then recognizing when my actions or my words, whatever is reflected, it aligns or doesn't align with my value of freedom, and have the freedom to correct that in the moment or thereafter. And so that said, the journey is a continuous exploration and continuous conscious way of getting to know myself through business, through traveling, through life, and in that discovery, learn to consistently bring my actions closer to my values.